All right, starting recording. So, anybody have any good news they want to talk about for the week, or the past week, I should say? Any
I got
closings from clients?
another offer accepted last week down in Maricopa. So I'm going
Nice.
from true north to Maricopa. So I need to figure out how to dial that in a little bit closer. But I'll certainly take both. So
Yeah.
that's
Well,
uh,
at least it's
that's
not in
been good.
Tucson or Flagstaff or something. Nothing really
Not
too
yet,
far out.
not yet. Um, I do have another piece of good news, and that is with Park Bench that Tim, I think you'd suggested a couple of months back.
Yep. I want to talk about it
I've
again
gotten
today.
on with them and doing some stuff with them. One of the things I'm doing is there are 21 other agents, and Park Bench has pulled us all together, and we've each written a chapter on this book about um, using network marketing. So that's going to be coming out
Nice.
in a couple of weeks.
That's
So
awesome.
just starting to get the word out there. Hope to add best-selling author to my list of creds.
Is it going to be a digital book or is it going to be a print or both or don't know yet?
Both. It's going to be on
Oh,
Amazon, so you can either get it for $1 digitally or $8 for a hard copy.
nice. You have to send that out to everybody when it comes out.
I will, and if you get the hard copy, I'll even autograph
It might be worth
What
millions
is park
someday.
bench? Or what's park bench?
We'll talk about it later, but basically it's like next door, except you go out to all the businesses near you, and it's basically for focused on realtors to grow their network as well as local businesses.
Very cool.
Yeah,
it.
it's a little bit better than next door. Next door is more focused on homeowners. Park Bench is more focused on realtors, getting them out in the market. So, speaking of the market, anybody else have any good news to talk about? I'll jump into that. All right, so active listings finally ticking up again, a little bit slowly, as compared to last month and, of course, last quarter, which was abysmal. We're still well below where we should be. We should be still around the 15,000 around this time of year. It's the end of the summer lull, which hopefully will be ending soon, and get to normal temperatures again. But when temperatures come normalized, then also come back snowbirds and more sales. So listings under contract are still pretty strong. I've still been submitting offers for several investors, and they're still running into multiple offers, so they still do happen. It just takes longer, as we see in the days on market. In certain areas, we're actually even up to 3 weeks or more of inventory, which is like unheard of. That hasn't happened for like almost a year. So good upward trend. Hopefully they'll stick with it through the fall summer season, which should tick up things. The crazy thing is, market index for the last few weeks, all of August, instead of ticking down like it's supposed to seasonally, it's just been holding steady, which seems kind of odd since we have an increase in supply. So the only thing that's decreasing is basically demand. So demand is tapering off, supply is ticking up, but our market index overall is just kind of hanging. We're just kind of cruising along. So hopefully that means pricing will start not increasing so much. But unfortunately, we're here at the active listings for Maricopa for under 2 million. We're still only hovering around 5,000 when we should be around 15,000 for a healthy market. New listings by month. This is kind of crazy because you can see all the blue bars. That's all of COVID-ness in 2020, where all the crazy numbers happened after the lockdown ended. For us in August, we're still way below where we should have been, even compared to just like 2019. So even seasonally, we're still kind of low. Hopefully that trend will improve. Year-over-year percentage for change in monthly sales price. We're finally coming back down to something, well, the new normal, as people like to call it. The crazy thing is our average sales price of homes is over $500,000, which I don't think it's ever been true. Even in the crazy 2006 days, 2012, just as a comparison, was around 223. So if you bought a house a decade ago, you can sell it for double the price. Closings over list price. If you're in this crazy market of 300 to 500K, I'm sorry for you. It's insane. That's where still the multiple offers are going on. We see over here, there's been over 1,468 sales over list price in those ranges. Even though the price over price isn't that big, unless you get up to 2 million, when it's a crazy 150,000 over, you're still getting over list price offers. Contract ratios. So we're no longer at, oh geez, don't reset on me. I went through and refreshed all these right before the meeting just so I wouldn't do this. So after I refix everything back to Maricopa under 2 million, basically contract ratios means we're no longer in this insanity frenzy. We are just in a normal frenzy. So hopefully one of these days we'll get below 100% of contract ratio, meaning we have less things going to contract than we're actually listing. This time of year, normally we're supposed to be around 65%. So we're supposed to have a lot of actives versus people that are putting under contract. So we're double that, or actually more than that right now. We're 160%. Days of inventory, as we talked about, they are increasing. Hopefully this bell curve kind of continues, so we get up to something a little normal. We are right around 3 weeks for Maricopa County under 2 million. So that's a good thing. It's much better than 2 weeks, so you don't have to have 20 offers to contend with, maybe only 4 or 5. Lease prices is good if you got any investors looking for rental properties, which they're all searching kind of right now. Even including things over 2,500 a month. Of course, you see those all in the dark reds. That's mostly East Valley, downtown, Tempe areas. Those are your hot spots for rentals. If you got people that are looking for something more around $1 a square foot and they just can't afford these type of houses, I'll click some of these off. Of course, it's got to reset everything. I was going to show you something really cool. Bear with me. But rental prices, of course, if you can't buy, then people are renting. So those things are just kind of skyrocketing as well. Also, people are getting priced out of the market with the increases in price going up so high. Oops. Let's zoom in a little bit. So if you're trying to find somebody a rental that's under 1,500 or try and buy one that's, it's going to rent for less than 1,500, yeah, they're pretty far and few between. Majority of them over here on the south end, around this new bend or the 202. Of course, around the 60 where nobody really wants to be. And then out here on the west side, Waddell and Surprise are just kind of blossoming. Same with Buckeye for rental properties. And of course, over here, East Mesa and AJ are just taking off. It's the only place that seem to be actually renting. Everybody else is going out right first day they go on the market. So just as a summary, here we go. Active listings that are not under contract. We're still hovering around 4,600 to 5,000. If you're under 2 million, it's even less. Our quarter to quarter, we're still going kind of normalish. We're going to be decreasing over Q3, just as we see in 2019. Then Q4 will kind of level out. Q1 will take off, of course, again. And then, of course, this one's going to reset on me right while I'm talking about it. Price per square foot is still going up at a crazy rate. We're still hovering around $250 a square foot. Just as a comparison, before all this craziness happened, we were at 173. So big jump up just in price per square foot. Very beginning of all the pandemic craziness. So just a summary for the infographic. Our sales are definitely way up. Our active listings are way down, and things are going on a contract are coming down seasonally and as well as just cooling off, hopefully. You may see stuff in the news about the market cooling, but in Phoenix, we're just kind of holding steady. One thing I want to bring up that you're probably going to see in the news, the eviction moratorium did get shot down by the U.S. Supreme Court. Since we're in the industry, you're probably going to get lots of questions about it. Basically, they considered it unconstitutional. CDC is an executive branch. They don't make law. So they basically told them, if you want to continue it, pass a law that says so, and we will enforce it. So what this means is there's going to be a lot of people freaking out on one end of the spectrum saying everybody's going to get kicked out. Delta variant, the virus is going to spread. On the opposite side, investors have been hurting for the last 16, 17 months where they couldn't collect rent, or worst case, couldn't collect rent and they had a horrible tenant that they could not evict. I mean, imagine your worst tenant or your worst roommate. Multiply that by 10 and thinking you can't kick them out and have to still deal with them for 3 to 12 months. Just think how much damage they can do to your property. So that being said, thankfully, finally they can start getting rid of those troubled people. They're going to be out in the market, hopefully looking for homes to buy, but most likely if they're being addicted, they probably can't afford it. So what you can do is basically recommend to them to go to the affordable housing. Oops. Sorry, before I jump into that, any questions on the market? There is rental assistance available. That's why I say send them to affordable housing. Affordable housing can find them rent. There's like 50 billion of uncollected rental assistance that hasn't been collected because states just haven't gotten around to it yet. So, any questions on the market? All right. Tip of the week. Don't be a secret agent. I kind of ripped off this slide, obviously. I didn't make that one. But basically, tips about agents don't let the public know enough that they're in business. A third of the people out there are basically related to real estate in some way. You got your vendors, you got people selling, you got buy and sell, investors, you name it. They're into it or they're in the industry, and that's kind of where your referral source is. Another kind of some other crazy statistics I found, just kind of talking about why you need to be out there and showing yourself in public. There's a lot of competition, obviously. Our active licensees are up. It used to be 50,000 less than a year ago. Now it's up to 62,000, or 2 years ago, excuse me. Most first time buyers are almost a third of what makes up in the market, so they probably never used you, never heard of you. If you're not out there some form, some way that they can see you, how are they going to hire you? 43% of all people search online, so basically online should be majority of obviously your marketing. Referral business, repeat clients, et cetera, et cetera. Facebook, that's another one. If you haven't done a professional Facebook page set up, you probably should, because 80% of your competition has already done it. 6% do search for leads on basis, but kind of crazy. Only a quarter of them will search for several hours per day. That's your lead source. That's your money. That's what you got to be doing on a daily basis. Another one I wanted to throw in there is kind of crazy. 85% of buyers and sellers want agents to use video marketing more, but only 15% use it. Just a tip. Video is key. You got to let people know you're in the business. If they don't know, they have to even ask you, what do you do? First thing I do out of your mouth should be, hey, I'm in the business. I'm a real estate agent. Minimum, you should be letting at least 5 people a week know about it. This is what I usually tell people that I'm coaching, and also anybody that wants to get into the business. It's a lot of day-to-day contact. It's contact sport, relationship sport. It's better if you do it 3 people a day. There was one agent I knew that she had basically made a deal with herself that she would hand out 3 business cards a day, and she couldn't go home until she did. And she was struggling one night, late at night. I think she was outside of Home Depot, and she saw a vendor kind of coming out of the Home Depot, and he was the last guy in the parking lot besides her. Found a business card at the bottom of her purse, and she ran after that guy and said, oh, I'm so really sorry. I can't go home until I give this out. My wife or kids won't let me in, but will you just take this business card? And he's like, sure. And crazy enough, he actually sent her tons of business. So, true story. You got to show off your name more. Show off your name tag. It's a good way to get your name out there. Some people are against them, say it's kind of old school, retail-ish. Makes you seem like a used car salesman, but other people say I actually get business out of it. I actually closed 1 or 2 deals based off of people knowing me from meetings, and they wouldn't have known me if they didn't see my name tag. It's funny, these name tags on the top right, I got it from Etsy. They'll actually put like bling all the way around your name tag. So another way to get attention. Some people put them upside down, put them crooked, so people are like, hey, your name tag's crooked. And then you just start the conversation like, hey, I'm so-and-so, and off you go. The big places that you can put your name tag, obviously, is where you go into meetings that nobody probably even knows you or may not know you. Big things like local chamber meetings, networking meetings, etc. Another thing you might want to look into is updating your image. Lifestyle photos, kind of showing who you are, where you are, what you do, your lifestyle. Anything that kind of may click with your ideal client. Especially if you haven't done this picture in the last 10 years, there's actually websites dedicated to making fun of realtors from really outdated old photos. Some of them from like high school. And they show them now and they're like 70 or 80. But basically, that is your image, is your brand. So keep it up to date, keep it looking good. Your Google business page. If you don't know what this is, probably really need to research it. You know that thing called Alexa? Yeah, the next 10 years, they are estimating that AI is going to be the way to find agents in the future. The AI uses a search algorithm. Search algorithm is going to use it based on their location. They're going to say, find me the best real estate agent in my area. If you're not on a Google business page, how are they going to find you? Google business pages will show up on the maps. Another interesting statistic was that most people are starting to shy away from Google search and starting to use Google Maps more, interestingly enough. Instead of searching for find me a plumber, they go onto the map and say plumber. They're probably going to put in agent some of these days. Some other tips about that. Do not use the office address, please, unless you're actually really farming that area. Use your address or an address near you or a business office address that you have in a farm area. If you want to be in the farm area, find an address in that farm area that you can accept mail from, because they're going to send you a postcard to verify you. The name of your business is you. It's not Asherkheim. It's not me. It's not real estate. It is your name. So if they want to search, they got to search you find you by your name. Circle prospecting. This is really good for definitely if you're listing activity. If you have a listing, coming soon, sold, open houses. If you heard the rule, the 5-5-10, if I've told you that before, it's 5 houses to either side on one side of the street and 10 houses on the opposite side. You got to hit all those houses. Door knock them, door hangers, whatever it takes. Some of that costs time. The other option is costing some money. You can send them postcards, you can send them mailers. The other option is you can get more digital and technical and use slide dial. Slide dial is that thing that maybe you've heard of whenever you get a phone call and it rings once and it disappears. That means it didn't actually go directly to your voicemail, but it was trying to, and it still rang once. What that does is it sends out to blast it to a list of cell phone numbers, and you can automatically upload a pre-made voicemail to them. It says, hey, I'm so-and-so, we're going to have a coming soon, or we're coming soon in your neighborhood. Just want to let you know this 4-3 is going for blah, blah in your neighborhood. Great house. Come check us out sometime, or talk about the open house, when it is, or give them that VIP entrance that, hey, if you come to open house now, a half hour early, we are letting neighbors only in at that time. So you can kind of filter out your, tire kicker, nosy neighbors. Also, don't forget your neighborhood. We talked about this before. Rob's going to become famous now from his connection through Parkbench. Parkbench, pretty cool. They basically started a whole business, the founders, on the idea that the online neighborhood should be a conglomeration of all businesses. And they like to focus on realtors. That's one of the big ones, and local lenders, of course. Lenders and real estate agents, it's a way to get connected with the community. Also builds up lots of content. I think Rob's done a few videos. He's also done a couple interviews, right? Can't remember. But the cool thing is they are limited, just like some other lead sources, that they only allow a certain number of agents per area. So won't get flooded with 100 of agents all around the Phoenix greater metro area. It's just you and maybe 2 or 3 others. You can stand out much better. Less competition. Next door is the same thing. They'll let in a few realtors per area to do their business marketing. Stories are memorable, not statistics. Mr. Tristan, I can't even pronounce his last name. I'm not going to try. His big thing was, if you want to be memorable and you want to stand out for the people in your community, don't tell them stats, don't tell them numbers. Their eyes are going to glaze over and they're not going to remember you. But everybody remembers stories. One thing I've been working on the last few years is trying to tell stories better. So this will get you business. My most memorable realtor during when I was an investor, he always had a story about every deal, every transaction, every house we went into. And I loved it. That's the reason why I stuck with him. Social media, got to be posting to it. Got to be posting hopefully every day. Gary Fee is very big about this. He says, if your marketing always works, even if you're putting it out there, even if you only get a few views. This one I got a quote of, just like that video alone, it saves you time and physically going out and doing some of the old school stuff. If you're doing door knocks, you'd have to door knock 65 people. Well, you put one video that takes you 2 minutes and you hit 65 people and it keeps growing. Those door knocks are a fixed point in time. You'll never be able to, leverage that in the future. Videos are timeless. It's going to be up there forever as long as the internet lasts, or until they, kick your video off. But basically, you can use that and leverage it in future. So you grow your content, it just gets more and more and more until there's tons out there. The bottom one here, also about being here, real estate is kind of what happens. Side event from media, what you're supposed to be doing. We talked about 80% people are agents on Facebook. LinkedIn's another big one, obviously. Must have been a few years ago because we still have Google Plus on here. YouTube, a third and growing. It used to be YouTube was 5. So, and that was a few years ago. It's probably up to like 50 or 60% now. Twitter, Pinterest, your real estate blog. Real estate blog really isn't that big because how are they going to find you? Majority of users are on these top 4 social medias. Instagram probably also still growing, so that may be another one, in Twitter if you like to tweet. Another one, JP. He's big about you got to be an agent of choice versus an agent of chance. If you're trying to randomly be found by people out there, you're going to fail, is his motto. You got to go out of it with a strategy in mind. You got to build your brand, put out social posts, marketing campaigns, videos, calls, emails, do it, all of it. Never stop. He said the second you stop, that train stops and you stop making money. To keep that pipeline moving, he knows that there's things disrupting you, which makes it even more so that in the future, these are going to become more and more important. So create the contact, make calls, you'll get more clients. The final thought on this, another Gary Vee quote, sorry, like the guy, he's always gone to point. But yeah, most people fail because they at least fail at reaching out the level of success they should because they're constantly misclassifying their jobs. Your job's not to sell houses. That's something you do. But you got to get your message out there in that scale and consistently for people to find you and grow your business. And of course, I just threw Deadpool in because I like Deadpool. So don't be a sacred agent. You got to let people know you're in the business if you want to grow your business. That's pretty much the tip of the week. Any questions on that? And then to wrap up, anybody have any obstacles, roadblocks, problems, things they think of that we might be able to help you with?